Hello, I am not Bill.
Wait, that means I must be Bill.
Ooh, well,
You
that
must be Trevor.
I must be.
Then this is
Bill and Trevor's Excellent Adventure.
So we've been talking about Jesus, talking with the other folks about who he was.
Mm.
And the question is coming up about whether he is a reliable witness. And that's going to bring back conversations we had very early in the podcast series where we were talking about this theme that John introduced very early in his gospel about the idea of a reliable witness.
Okay.
And I'll take the listeners back to some of the things we talked about. How do you evaluate whether to believe something that somebody says? This is applicable with respect to religion. It's applicable with respect to politics. It's applicable with respect to social media and any information you can find on the internet. It's applicable to what your best friend tells you.
Yeah.
And that is when you are evaluating whether somebody is a reliable witness, you need to first of all evaluate their motive. What do they stand to gain or what do they stand to lose based on whether or not you believe them? You've got to look at their track record. Are they often right or are they often wrong?
Yeah.
Liars tell lies.
Yeah.
Gullible people believe lies and spread them. And if you don't watch yourself, you'll become one of them.
Yeah, it's true.
So regarding John the Baptizer, you asked me, why was he a reliable witness? And now you can answer that question.
Well, I can say that the way he amassed the following and kept giving it away to Jesus and kept saying that I am not the guy, could have taken all this credit, could have done so many different things with all the people that believed him. He gave it all away and died asserting that he was not him, that he was here to make way for the other guy.
So right away, we can see that John the Baptist was not in it for power. And from his lifestyle, eating, locusts, a wild caught animal, and camel's hair, he wasn't in it for the money.
Definitely
wasn't
not
in it for the power. That's why we believe he is a reliable witness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about John the Apostle? We talked about whether he was a reliable witness, and what do you think about that?
Well, I think we were just talking about this, and it was like you said, he watched all of his friends die one by one for the same exact same things he's saying.
Yeah.
There's nothing new about what he said. People have said this, and he was watching them die, yet he continued.
And I mentioned early in the podcast series, when you start looking up what do we know about John the Apostle from sources that are not the Bible, and the writings about him by the people who knew him or the people who knew the people who knew him, what they attest was he lived very simply, not in it for the money. And as he grew older, his role was not to be in control, but to give counseling and guidance. Not in it for the money, living very simply, doing what he knows gets people killed.
Yep.
We think is a reliable witness. And he's telling us what Jesus said, and Jesus is putting himself forward as a reliable witness, saying, look, I've got evidence that I'm telling the truth. Look at what I'm doing. So now we're going to pick up here, and he asked the big question. Verse 43, why do you not understand what I am saying? It is because you cannot listen to my word. And I think that's an interesting turn of a phrase. Cannot listen. What do you think about that?
To me, it ends up being more of like you can't. I don't know if cannot is cannot is the word for it. It's more like they don't want to believe this. It doesn't fit in their lifestyle, so they just reject it.
And so again and again and again, John, the gospel writer, is hammering down the point that there was plenty of reason contemporarily to believe what Jesus said. And the reason people would not is because they just could not tolerate what he had to say.
Yeah.
Not because it was not true,
Yeah.
but because they couldn't tolerate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he says, you are of your, where are we? Verse 43, 44. You are of your father, the devil, and you want to do the desires of your father. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. Whenever he tells a lie, he speaks from his own nature because he is a liar and the father of lies. This is a pretty strong statement.
Yeah.
First of all, like father, like son. And then also monkey see, monkey do. Mm-hmm. But here is an interesting thing about truth versus deceit. Mm. You've heard me say before, liars tell lies, gullible people believe them. Mm-hmm. God's position on lying is intolerable.
Yep.
He says Satan is the liar.
Yep.
There's no such thing as a white lie. Mm-mm. It's a lie.
It's a lie. Yep.
And whenever we speak lies, we speak devil's language.
Yeah.
But because I say the truth, verse 45, you do not believe me. Which one of you convicts me of sin? That's a question right there.
It sure is. I don't think anybody can, unfortunately.
But think about it. There was a great deal of opposition to Jesus' ministry while he was alive. Mm-hmm. The easy way to bust it simply would have been to expose the scandal.
Yeah.
What was Jesus doing? Mm-hmm. He's saying, look at it. Look at what I'm doing. Who can convict me of a sin?
Yeah.
And the only person out of his whole crew who ever turned against him could not tolerate in himself what he did and committed suicide over it.
Yeah.
After Jesus is dead and buried, and beyond any repercussions if what he said was not true,
yeah,
Judas Iscariot says, what have I done? And that tells you something about Jesus.
Yeah.
His character was above accusation.
Yeah.
And he's inviting it. Come on, hit me with your best shot. What have I ever done wrong?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the closest people could come who opposed his message was, well, you're doing the miracles wrong. You're not supposed to do them on Saturday. Mm. You're doing it because Satan's doing those miracles, doing all these good works.
Yeah. Satan's helping these people.
Which one of you convicts me of sin? If I speak truth, why do you not believe me? And that's the question for our listeners.
Yeah.
The one who is of God hears the words of God. For this reason you do not hear them, because you are not of God. The Jews answered and said to him, do we not rightly say that you are a Samaritan and you have a demon?
Another dig at him because they just can't tolerate it.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten beyond the point where we can justify our conclusions with facts and with logic. So now we're going to reduce to name calling.
Yep.
Not unlike certain politicians. I remember one time I heard, if the facts are on your side, pound the facts. If the emotions on your if logic is on your side, pound the logic. And if neither the facts nor logic are on your side, pound the pulpit.
Oh, that's a good one.
49, Jesus answered, I do not have a demon. On the contrary, I honor my Father, and you dishonor me. Bill's footnote, and that should make you feel afraid.
Yeah, should.
50, but I am not seeking my glory. There is one who seeks it and judges. Truly, truly, I say to you, if anyone follows my word, he will never see death. I think that's deliberately poking the bear here. Mm-hmm. The Jews said to him, now we know you have a demon. Abraham died, and the prophets as well. And yet you say, if anyone follows my word, he will never taste death. You are not greater than our father Abraham, who died, are you? The prophets died too. Whom do you make yourself out to be? Jesus answered, if I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. It is my Father who glorifies me, of whom you say he is our God. And you have not come to know him, but I know him. And if I say that I do not know him, I will be a liar like you. But I do know him, and I follow his word. I want to back up for a moment. He says, we'll never see death?
Yeah.
Christians die all the time.
They sure do.
So
Jesus there is talking about eternal life. Talking
yeah.
about a spiritual death that doesn't happen to those who believe or follow him.
And this is the part of Jesus' message that a lot of people cannot tolerate. The idea that there is a judge, that there is a judgment, and there are consequences based on what you choose to believe and not believe.
Yeah.
If you believe one set of things, they will influence your behavior.
Mm.
If you believe a different set of things, that too will influence your behavior, and we will all be held to account. This is not a very popular thing to think.
Not at all.
But Jesus says those who adhere to what he is teaching, which John is not talking about except for the fact of his identity, that those who adhere to that will never taste death, that is the real death, the one that counts after judgment.
Yep. Yeah.
Verse 50, let's start here in 54. Do you want to read or you want me to keep reading? I didn't ask you.
I can read if you want.
Why don't you read?
All right, cool. Jesus replied, "If I glorify myself, my glory means nothing. My Father, whom you claim as your God, is the one who glorifies me. Though you do not know him, I know him. If I said I did not, I would be a liar like you. But I do know him and obey his word. Your father Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day. He saw it and was glad. You are not yet 50 years old," they said to him, "and you have seen Abraham? Very truly I tell you," Jesus answered, "before Abraham was born, I am." At this, they picked up stones to stone him, but Jesus hid himself, slipping away from the temple grounds.
And this is indeed the crux.
Mm-hmm.
We might need to explain to people the significance of Jesus saying, before Abraham was born, past tense, I am present tense. You want to explain that?
Well, it goes back to transdimensional being. Yeah, he exists beyond time, and he was inserted and projected in this limited space that we have. So he's always existed.
Yes.
He's always been there. He never was not there.
Yes.
So he's seen it all.
And specifically, when he says, I am, to his Jewish audience.
I am specifically is also what God refers to himself.
Yes. The name that God gave Moses, Moses, what's your name? The name God gave Moses literally meant I am. Mm-hmm. Now, it was pronounced Yahweh, and it was later transliterated by German, theologians. It was later translated by German theologians as YHVH without the vowels, which people then started spelling out as Jehovah. So that even now, a lot of religious people will call God's name as Jehovah. But what it literally meant was I am. Mm-hmm. And in the social context, in that time and in that place, names meant more than they do to 21st century Western folks. As far as you and I are concerned, Bill is just something you can say out loud so I know who you're talking to.
Yeah, yeah.
But back then, name was more like an expression of your identity.
Yeah.
When you say who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was, for you to tell somebody your name is really like an intimate expression of your identity, of who and what you are.
Yeah.
And if you know that, then a lot of stuff that's in the Bible starts making more sense. Mm-hmm. For example, all of the changes of names in the Bible are associated with changes of identity. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Abram used to be known as Abram, which meant patriarch. And this was from a guy who was like 90 years old and had no kids. Yeah. It tells you something about who he saw himself as. Mm-hmm. Oh, you wanted to be a daddy and now it's too late. But when God gave him the promise, he says, nah, you're not going to be a patriarch. You're going to be Abraham, which means the father of many nations, just totally expanded and exploded his vision for himself.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff like that going on in the Old Testament. Mm-hmm. So when Jesus says to these people, before Abraham was born, I am, he is literally claiming to be God.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard a preacher, an evangelist once say that God is the ising one. His identity is that he exists.
Yeah.
This transdimensional being we're talking about, completely outside of time, God's most fundamental nature is that he exists.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot talk about who created God because inherently he always has been.
Yeah.
You cannot talk about destroying God because inherently he exists. That's what he is. He
Yeah.
is the power that exists. Fortunately for all of us, he loves.
Yes. Very fortunately.
So that's what Jesus is saying to these people.
Mhm.
In verse 59, therefore, they picked up stones to throw at him because that's blasphemy
That's the highest form.
if it's not true.
Yeah, just if it's not true. Yeah.
But Jesus hid himself and left the temple grounds.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I try to visualize what did that look like. You know, he's in sight, right? He pick up the stones. What happened to Jesus?
Yeah. Yeah. He's the one moment you're looking up, you look down to grab a stone, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, where'd he go?
And it harkens in my mind back to when the temple guards came to arrest Jesus, but they couldn't. You know, they're just spellbound.
Yep. Couldn't touch him.
And now people want to pick up the stones, and it's like Jesus threw up his cloaking device.
Man. What a thought to be someone in that time witnessing this. Just
Yeah, crazy stuff.
yeah. That's cool.
Well, that will be it for today. I am Bill.
I am Trevor.
And this has been Bill and
Trevor's Excellent Adventure.